good evening. Hi, my darlings. This is Sibylle from Wild Spirits Coaching. Welcome to today's live training, this week's live training, and I'm sorry there haven't been any live trainings for a couple of weeks. There were holidays, so bank holidays and other things, and a rather bad tech fail on my side from my internet service provider one Monday, so I couldn't do it that week either. But today we're back and hopefully won't be interrupted. And if we should be, I'm just saying this from the start, if we should be interrupted, I'll just start the live again, just refresh your page and you will probably see another live video coming up. So apologies in advance in case that should happen. I will then, if that happens, then tomorrow I'm going to put the different parts of the video together and stick them all together and stick them up on the Wild Spirits Coaching Facebook page. And there's also a link on my website, or there's going to be, from tomorrow on, there's going to be a link on my website, www.wildspiritscoaching.com. So, welcome again to this training. I'm here on my sofa today, so I'm trying different spots in my room and in my house. And hi, someone's joined. Hello. And I've just realized now I'm on the sofa and it's super comfortable, but I've just realized I have this massive shadow behind me, so this looks like I can play around a little bit with this. Maybe I'll incorporate that in future videos. But let's start with the training. First of all, I'll tell you what it's about. The training is called Passion Detective, and it's, as usual, these trainings that I do on a Monday evening, or at least it's evening in my time zone. I don't know where depending on where you are in the world, it might be morning, the next morning, or earlier in the day. Here in Ireland it's 9 p.m, just after 9 p.m. And the trainings that I do on a Monday evening usually refer to the main article in this week's Monday Sparkles newsletter. Monday Sparkles comes out every Monday morning, so it's about 12 hours before now that I sent that out. And if you're not subscribed to Monday Sparkles yet, you can subscribe to it. You just need to go to my website, wildspiritscoaching.com, and there's a form there that you can fill in to get Monday Sparkles. And if you've missed it so far and you weren't subscribed so far, then you can read the main article from Monday Sparkles is also published on a blog on my website. So you just click blog and then you see an article called "Of Course You're Not Stuck." So that was the title of this week's article. And I won't recount the entire article, just go back there after the training and read it for yourself, and also subscribe to Monday Sparkles, because then you'll get the article in the morning, and not just the article but special exclusive offers and other things, insider information, background information, more inspiration. It's a huge package, this Monday Sparkles newsletter. It's all free, no strings attached. Your data are completely safe with me. I'll never pass them on to your email address or your name to anyone else. So this week's article was called "Of Course You're Not Stuck." And what it referred to very briefly, I'm just paraphrasing here, is that whenever it's sometimes hard to know that you're stuck when you are, because while you're in that process of being stuck, you sometimes don't see that you are. And I was for several years and I wasn't seeing it. I knew I wasn't perfectly happy, but I would never have said that I was stuck or that anything was wrong. I thought that was it, and that's what my life should be like, and that's what I wanted. I've even told myself that is what I wanted. And sometimes I still kind of slide into this kind of hibernation mode, although my life is so much better and I really live my passions these days. But even now I sometimes start sliding again. And so this training, and I'll read the article, there's much more detail in there, and information on how to find whether you are stuck right now in anything and how to get unstuck. And this training goes a little deeper on the how to find whether you are stuck in anything. I see Linda has joined. Hello. All right. I'm so sorry that the stream won't load. But if you can't join live, if you can't hear me live, Linda, you can always watch the replay, and I hope some more people are going to join in as well today in the live stream. Because otherwise it'll just be a very short training, then people can watch the replay, but I'm kind of relying on the interaction for the live training. So if there's no interaction, if people don't, or if there's only 1 or 2 people tuning in live, then I'm going to keep it a little short. So Passion Detective, this is how to tell. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to tell whether you're stuck. And again, you often don't realize it. It's in the same vein as people tell me, oh, I don't need coaching. Because people have this idea that coaching is for people who can't get it together on their own, who can't make it, who are kind of losers, and the opposite is the case. The opposite is the case. The most successful people, all the most successful people have coaches. You can look at it as, if you get coaching, it means that you are prepared and you want to live life on the next level. You just want to go that step further and enhance it that much more and squeeze every last drop of juice out of life. That is what coaching does. And that's the same when you're a little stuck and don't admit it to yourself. So when I was stuck, I had a good job, I made good money, and everything was going well. And you know, nothing was wrong, except I wasn't pursuing my passions. I was quite isolated. I'd isolated myself from my friends, and I had my four walls and my pets, and I thought that was it. I really thought that's what I wanted. I see a lot of people who are stuck in, they have a family and they're happy. It's not like they're unhappy. They have their family, they have their kids, they have friends, they have a good job, they have a couple of hobbies, and it's not like they're unhappy. But what I'm always on about is that you can be outrageously happy, and you should be overjoyed for most of the time. Nobody is joyful all the time. Of course, we all have bad days or bad moods and whatever, and bad things happen in our lives and all the rest. That happens to everyone. But most of the time, the majority of the time, we should be joyful. We should be excited about something. We should do something that sets us alight, that sets us on fire. And if you're not doing that, then I will gently suggest you might be stuck a little bit. Now, how do you find out? The thing is that most people have something that they've always done since they were children, or it's something they might have discovered later, some passion, some interest, or a hobby, or a sport, or something that they're doing that really lights them up. And if you stop doing that, it's usually the sign that something might be amiss, that you might be stuck. Once again, I'll give you my example from my life. And if you'd like to share yours, if you know something from your own life that is like that, I'd love to read about it, so send me a comment. In my life, it's dancing. I've danced since I could walk, probably before I could walk. And I've danced really regularly since I was an early teen, like maybe 12 or 13 years old. I danced in my room, on my own, and of course in the teenage discos and all the rest. But the most important bit was that I danced every day on my own to music that I loved, to whatever songs that were my favorites at the time. I am highly sensitive and very emotional, and dancing is my way of processing my emotions. Music, I'm also very musical. I love music. So music it really speaks to me, it really ravishes my emotions. It really gets me going. And that's why dancing is my outlet. And that's how I process myself. So when I get a little stuck, when I get a little set in my ways and a little too settled and not very passionate and joyful anymore, is usually when I stop dancing. That is usually when I notice it. And it's funny, sometimes I only notice it a week or two later. It's like, I haven't really danced for a long time. I haven't really listened to my favorite music. I haven't really jumped around and got really sweaty and disgusting and you know, and done this dancing that I do. This is my trigger. This is my, when I'm a passion detective, I look for the dancing. And if that is missing, I know that I'm starting to slip into settling, into not being passionate and joyful anymore. So what I want to encourage you to do is to just be a bit of a detective. Think back. What did you love to do when you were a child? What did you love to do throughout your life? What was your passion as a teenager? And it might be something newer. It might be something you only discovered as an adult. It's just, if you don't know, I always encourage people to look into your childhood. What did you love to do, or what did you want to do and weren't allowed to do, or something? You know, some people, I have a friend who's completely mad about dogs and about animals in general, but dogs in particular, but she wasn't allowed a dog as a child. So she had to think for a long time before she came up with something. She said, yeah, I always wanted a dog. Even when I was 3 years old, I wanted a puppy. And later on, she came to work with animals. So that is her passion. So try and find what do you do that makes you happy? Are you a writer? Are you somebody who takes pictures? Do you love heart-to-heart conversations with your loved ones, with a friend or whatever? And sometimes you might not get this for a week or two, and then you feel yourself slipping into a mode where you are not what I call online. And I obviously don't mean online as in the internet. I mean emotionally connected, emotionally there, with that spark, that buzz, that what I call, which lights you up, that sets you on fire, that makes you joyful, that makes you passionate about something. Now, hi Sarah. I see people joining on and off, but Sarah is there now and Linda is there, and that's great. And if anyone else is there, just type a hi, just type a comment, do something. I love hearing from you. And if you can think of something, I would love to hear what your thing is. My thing, like I said, is dancing. I mean, I have a lot of passions. I love my archery. If I don't do archery, there's usually something amiss too. And my sword fighting and everything else, I have quite a lot of passions, my birds and all that. But the one thing that is a surefire 100% indicator of something not being right with me, or not right, there's nothing wrong, it's just that I'm not passionate, that I'm not joyful, that I'm not living my life to the full and enjoying to the full, that is when I stop dancing for a couple of days. That's usually the indicator that something is amiss, that I need to look after myself, I need to get more sleep and whatever. Sarah used to draw all the time. It would be interesting to explore why you stopped. Do you not draw anymore at all, or do you just do it more rarely these days? What is it like? For me, there were years when I wasn't dancing. I just completely stopped. But for me, and it doesn't have to be, sometimes interests change. Sometimes it's nothing sinister. You just aren't that passionate about it anymore. But for me, with the dancing, I'm still very passionate about dancing, and for me, that was the sign. That was the indicator that I wasn't there anymore. Linda, you need to create. Yeah, I think if you don't create, Linda, there's something. You must be in a deep coma or something. If you don't create something, you're probably the most crafty, talented, and creative person I know. No, it's just, I encourage you to look at this thing and look at whatever is missing. If you feel a bit off, what is missing that you usually do? What is missing that usually sets you on fire? That usually sets your light. And now for the end of this training, I'd like to give you a bit of an encouragement of, or a couple of tips on how to incorporate it again. Because if you haven't done something for years, it can be really hard to get back into a habit. Now, if you've read my newsletter for a while, you will know this. I say it a lot, and now I'll say it one more time. In order to create a habit or recreate a habit, psychologists have found out that you have to work on it for at least 21 days. That is the period that it takes for the habit to become habitual enough so that it'll be harder for you to stop doing it than it'll be to continue. For the first 31 days, you have to kick yourself to put on the dancing shoes, or to take out the brush and start painting, or to do something creative, or whatever, if you haven't done it for a couple of years. And yes, drained of energy. Linda just says when it's definitely a sign when the creativity stops or runs dry. That's usually when she's drained of energy, and it's the same with me. I have trouble sleeping. And when I don't sleep a couple of days in a row, then I just don't have the energy for dancing, but then everything else is just not as passionate and as joyful. So that was going to be my first tip. If you feel like you're missing your passion and you want to get back into it, there's always a bit of a drag. There's always, at the beginning, you need to create that momentum again. You need to go through these 21 days to create the habit again. So the first step, yeah, same, Sarah, same. When I was slipping into depression, and even if it was just a very light depression, the first thing that went were my passions. Mental health is a huge thing in that respect. So if you're trying to get back your passions and your oomph and you're feeling alive and you're feeling online with your emotions, the first thing you have to look at is self-care. And I know that's such a trope. Every coach, every self-help guru says you need to practice self-care. Don't dismiss it. That's what I want to say. Don't dismiss it. Think of something you want to do for yourself. Some loving, caring act towards yourself. And if you find it really hard to think of something towards yourself, think of somebody you love. If you have a child, it's usually good for the child. If you have a pet, think of your pet. If you have somebody in your life that you love very much, think of a loving act of kindness that you could do for that person. And then turn it around and do that loving act of kindness for yourself. You might just take an evening off by candlelight and with a glass of wine and a good book, just for yourself, or even an hour for yourself. You could just take a bubble bath. a scented bubble bath in candlelight as well. I love candlelight, as you can see. whatever floats your boat, obviously. Or take a walk in nature. Do something just for yourself. This might sound trivial, but it's very important that you don't do it with the spirit of, oh yeah, I'll take the kids along and all the rest. Do something just for you for once. Just for you. Make some room. If it's only 10 minutes, make some space in your day and look after yourself. The big thing, I mentioned it before, for me is a big thing is sleep. And I'm sure Linda can confirm that. And obviously, if you're ill, if you're mentally ill or have a physical illness or pain or whatever, that can drain you very much as well. But sleep is often at the bottom of a lot of things. So try and get some sort of regular sleep, even for just 2 or 3 nights, can make the world of a difference to your energy. And when you have energy, you can start building that habit again. So yeah, self-sacrifice, very good, Linda. And this is what I see a lot with people who are, especially mothers, that are only there for their children and for everyone else, or for their husbands, or for their whatever, for everyone else in the world, or people who are very focused on their careers. They're usually putting their careers first and do the work and put in the hours and all the rest and forget to look after themselves. So go back to yourself, go back to the basics, to the self-care, it's really basic things: self-care, sleep. Look at your food, what you're eating. Now you don't have to, don't punish yourself, or I have to only eat salad. Eat stuff that you like, but that is vibrant whole foods, because they give you a lot of energy as well. So everybody has something they like, and if it's strawberries, I mean at the moment it's strawberry time in many parts of the world, and most people love strawberries, even if they're not into healthy food otherwise. So eat some strawberries. Berries are fantastic for you. They're antioxidants, and they're just really, really good for your health, and they give you a lot of energy. Be very, very kind to yourself. Self-care can just mean taking some time out. That can be self-care. Just doing nothing for an hour. Allow yourself to not do anything without feeling bad, without feeling, oh, I should be productive, oh, I should be doing this and that and the other. Just allow yourself to do that. Sarah just mentions mindful eating. That is a very good thing. And mindful anything, actually. Try some mindfulness, mindful meditations. That would have been my next tip, meditation. Look into meditation. If you're not good at just sitting there and thinking of nothing, don't feel like a failure again. Oh, I can't think of nothing. Look up, Google mindfulness meditation. You can get guided meditation, so you have a voice to listen to and to focus on things, and they'll guide you through to focus on different parts of your body, or on your breath, or on different things. It can only be 3 or 5 minutes. You don't need to sit for an hour if you're new to meditation, or if you have a problem with it. Do 3 to 5 minutes. Makes a world of a difference. And then, yeah, oh, blueberries, yes, nectarines, all of it. I mean, I love pretty much all whole foods, but find something that you love, that is a whole, vibrant, living food that gives you energy, that nourishes your body. That's also an act of loving kindness. You nourish your body with sleep, with good food, with rest, with not doing anything, and do some self-care, nourish your soul as well as your body. And then look back at that passion that you've kind of lost along the way, and try and recreate it, and try and do small baby steps of maybe 5 or 10 minutes at first. It counts. Everything counts. Every minute counts. I started with 5 minutes of stretching yoga, seated at my desk when I first got back into it. And that very quickly got more. But don't ask too much of yourself at first, and do those 21 days so you start creating the habit again. So I'd love to hear from you what you are going to recreate now. I've been in a phase where I've been slacking. That's how I had the idea to the article this morning. So by the way, go to wildspiritscoaching.com and read the article if you haven't read it already, and subscribe to Monday Sparkles, because then you get the article every morning and lots of other articles and information along with it. And what I'd love to hear from you now is, what passion are you, or how are you going to get more online, or less stuck, or more unstuck? Now for me, in the last couple of weeks, sleep has been a big problem, and I've been so exhausted that I really stopped exercising, and I also stopped my dancing for the most part. Not completely, but for the most part, and that's always a bad sign for me. I become emotionally unbalanced, I become less productive, less creative, just less happy. Just very, very simply less happy and joyful. Linda, that's fantastic. Nap, self-care for the day, perfect. Now, if anyone would like to share what kind of passion they'd like to get back into the habit or get more of a habit. You might do it, but you feel you want to do more of it, not just once a week, but 3 times a week or whatever. With me, with the dancing, it's only just started, so I'm in the process of once again creating the habit. My focus is going to be sleep. I need to make sure that I sleep regularly, and the habit that I'm getting back into is dancing. The regular dancing, that leads for me, that leads to the other exercise, that leads to everything else, and leads to me being happy and emotionally balanced. Now, if anyone else would like to share, I would like to encourage you to do that as your homework, as your action step for this week. Pick something that you want to get back online with, that you want, that one step that'll get you closer to emotional alignment and to a fulfillment and joy. Become the passion detective. Find that one thing that it does it for you. That is your sign for that something is stuck, that something is not going as it should. So Sarah says, you need to sing more. Yeah. I know you don't have a car, Sarah. What I do, it's just an idea now. I do that in the car, but maybe you can find something else, or you can just go into the woods and sing there, or just, sing in the shower and sort the family. What I always did when I was still a commuter, I used to sing in the car on the way to work and on the way back. That was when my voice got, that was the only expression that I had in these years when I was otherwise very withdrawn, very not online with my feelings and my passions. I wasn't dancing, but at least I was singing in the car. So find something and just belt it out. Just do 5 minutes a day, maybe when the rest of the family are gone. Start with 5 minutes and do it for 21 days and see what it does. It's fantastic. Singing is great. I love doing that too. And Linda, some exercise. Linda, you started with some walks a couple of weeks back. How's that going? It's summer. It could be a good thing. Is that something else you would like to give a try? That's something I need to do too. Get outside more. That is in the shower, Sarah. Sing in the shower. It's perfect. Nobody hears you, and if they do, sod them. No, I have that thing because I work from home. My daytime job is from home. My coaching is also at home. So I'm sometimes really stuck in the house. I get a bit of a case of cabin fever after a couple of days. I don't even realize what's going on, and then I realize I haven't been outside in 48 hours. So I really make a point of stepping outside, doing my archery practice outside of the house, and just going for a walk. And there's no excuse really. It's summer. Okay, the weather's not great, but it's not cold. And in between showers, there's always a way to go outside and walk a little bit. Maybe you can do that, Linda. Now, if anyone else would like to share after the replay, I'm going to finish off now. The live stream is getting too long. It's been over 20 minutes already. If you'd like to share, I'd love to hear. And if you only hear the replay, just post a comment. I'll check back and I'll reply to all the comments, or as many as I can. I wish you a beautiful week and a beautiful evening, and be sure to get back online with your passion and with your joy, because that is what life is all about and you deserve it. Bye bye, and talk to you next week.